What are the best magic tricks from creator, magician, Patrick Kuhn? Well, that is the question we are going to get into right now. How's it going, guys? This is the Hobbyist Magic channel. My name is Michael, encouraging you to enjoy the hobby of magic, whether that be through magic trick tutorials or magic reviews. So consider subscribing if you haven't already. I also wanted to give a huge shout out to my members, my channel members, both at the supporter and insider tier. You guys are the best and I appreciate you supporting me. And if you want to get in on that, there's exclusive content at both levels, as well as some other things. So check that out if you'd like to dive even deeper with this channel. You can click the join button below. But with all that said, there will be no further interruptions from me throughout this video, so let's dive into the magic. So Patrick Kuhn, if you're not familiar, is a magician and creator, and I don't really know the first time I saw him or became aware of him, but he's been around for a while now, and he's just shared a lot of really cool products that I've just kind of found myself coming back to him, and over the years I feel like I've become a fan. You can let me know if you feel similar. I'm a Patrick Kuhn fan. He just has some creative stuff, and so I'm going to mention like a top 3 of his tricks that I've been able to pick up. Now, as with a lot of magic, you might relate with this. I feel like I'm never able to pick up all the things I'd like to get from a certain creator because that would be financially irresponsible, but we pick up what we can, right? We pick up what we can, and here are some of the tricks from him that I like. I'll also try to mention things that maybe I haven't been able to pick up. So I guess I'll go ahead and mention that. I think his phone wallet, his MagSwitch wallet, looks super cool. Would love to pick that up someday, maybe someday. He also has some downloads that seem really awesome that hopefully I'll be able to get around to. And another honorable mention is his leather card case. I like that and used it for a few years. It's not so much my style of how I like to carry cards anymore, but it was very nice and elegant looking and feeling. Mine did start to chip away and deteriorate over time, but that was, you know, kind of beyond when I was already using it. And honorable mention too would be his card to wallets, and he's even come out with a new version of card to wallet. On other review videos, I have mentioned that I had some stitching come apart on that product, and I try to give that the benefit of the doubt because I did get that product when I was kind of returning to magic, and I kind of roughhoused it a little. So I try to measure that out while still sharing what honestly happened, which that's something also that happened to my Quiver Pro, Quiver Plus, Quiver Pro, the big one, when I was getting back into magic too. And yet when I got like a replacement one, I got the smaller one just to switch it up. I didn't have that stitching problem, but I was also being more careful with it. So let that data form into whatever it means for you. So those are just some honorable mentions, things I don't have, things I've seen, things that aren't in my list, but I have picked up. But let's get into that top 3 right now. And at number 3, a product I think I'll have mentioned in a different video this month is Timeline, the Timeline app. Super cool time traveling trick. And what you'll see later is that it's really cool how Patrick has linked this with other things. So at face value, you can just, ask the spectator number 1 to 9, and then make it look like your clock goes back that many minutes on your phone. And the cool thing is they can open up their phones and it has seemed to have happened on their phones too. So that's pretty cool. So you can use this in conjunction with a Triumph. You could use it in conjunction with, an ambitious card routine. It really could be anything. You can also use it just flat on its own, which I think is really cool. I'll have to check back because it seems that the updates weren't keeping up with iOS design updates at first. Maybe he's gone back and fixed that. I would need to pull it back out. It's been a minute since I've performed it. And admittedly, I've not really performed it like a ton. I've performed it one time where I got great reactions, and then I performed it one time where it went wrong. And that's the thing with apps. I'm willing to maybe accept user error on that, but I don't really know what happened. I might have tapped or not tapped, whatever it might have been, to activate the moment to happen. And so that's why it's probably good, especially if it's for a formal show, which this was the case, that, it's not the central moment, and it wasn't. I think I connected it to a Triumph. And so I just tried to glaze right through that. But that is the thing with apps and technology in general, and that's why I do have it at kind of that number 3 spot. I think it's comfortable there because it's a really cool effect. It's really great as an asset to other things. It can kind of be used solely on its own if you present it well. So I would really think about presentation. I don't remember who I got this from or if it was just from me, but I kind of presented it when it was just, I did it on its own as like a You know, do you believe time travel is possible? What if it was? And how many minutes have we been talking, do you think? And that kind of goes into the more of the presentation that I think I've seen others share. And the spectators being able to pull out their phone afterward and confirm that it's the same time. If you think about it too hard, you know what's going on there, right, as a magician, but there's something about that that just feels really impactful and works for people. So I think that's pretty cool. So that is number 3, timeline. Number 2 is Instagrab, and I like this for several reasons. I picked up the Shadow Wallet before Instagrab, I'm pretty sure, and that's when I learned about indexes. And it is okay to say, you know, in the ad copy you can read about the fact that this is a card index. Those have been around for years. Card indexes, they're a way for you to access a certain thought of or named whatever card, and then you can get it into, you know, position for whatever sort of trick you want to do. A more modern one is the Advocate. One that I want to look into is the R&S index from Eddie Raymond. Daniel Garcia came out with an index recently. Even Patrick Kuhn himself has come out with a separate card index. So Instagrab is a 6-card index that combines with one other technique, I'll call it one other method, that it allows it to function as a 12-card index, okay? And so when I was learning the Shadow Wallet, they name dropped Patrick Kuhn because they used some of his techniques to form their own 6/12 card index within their wallet. But Instagrab is an index that you can hold in your pocket. And like I said, it functions as a sort of 12-card index. And then with some equivoque, magician's choice techniques type of thing, you can make it feel like it's a 1 out of 52, any named card is produced. So that alone is really cool. But he also has a presentation and some different techniques he's thought through to put together where you're able to pull it from an Instagram photo, and the Instagram photo changes as you like drag it through out of your phone. And then it's the genuine Instagram app, and it's a genuine picture on the app. There's my cat there, cat cameo. It's a genuine picture on the Instagram app that they can check afterward, okay? So there are some risks in terms of examinability, but I think he makes it as effective as possible in terms of being able to show the picture afterward, and they're not able to like manipulate it in any way. So the phone presentation is really cool, but I was just getting into indexes, and I think this one is strong still. I will admit I've tried it out a ton and used it a ton, and I feel like I kept running into, well, first I needed to learn my index system, so a couple times I would misremember and I would pull out the wrong card. But to pull from my like Shadow Wallet experience, which I know is different, but it's kind of similar, I was able to get like a good hit using that index in that situation. So whether it's Instagrab or Shadow Wallet, you know, if you are able to deliver it well, get the card right, obviously, right, then it can land pretty well. Here is what I would say is that I learned not to make it an opener, because you do have to talk for a few minutes and people aren't getting that instant credibility prover. So, you know, as rote as it may seem, like do your ambitious card routine, do whatever your visual, you know, do your extreme burn or whatever it is, get people warmed up. And then as they feel, you know, like you've earned the right to take a couple seconds, then you can go through this methodology. Or if you're more of a mentalist, you know, you can structure your routines in that way. But I would still say, you know, this takes time. They can't just think of something or choose something and then you reveal it or transform it. You need to have that trust a little bit is what I would recommend with this trick. So get some warm-ups out of the way, and then if you feel like they're really wanting to see more, you can then sit down with them and talk, because you do have to ask them a few questions to get to the card. Okay, so that's some things I would say about that. The cards that it comes with are really awesome. In fact, to the point where I would even get refills if I got the chance. Not refills like they're gonna go away anytime soon, although you do have to fold them, so keep that in mind. They're folded cards, so if you keep folding them back and forth, presumably someday, you know, that could be worn down. But I would love to get some that are not folded, and you wouldn't have to only get them from Patrick. You could probably find them elsewhere, but it is, at least last I checked, an accessible place to get them by getting them from him in that, you know, red bicycle back. It's just very convenient. And I would say the quality of the index itself is also very nice and makes it very easy to do what you need to do. It's got a nice thickness to it, which I think will be good for, you know, longevity. But I do wonder, like, you know, maybe are there thinner ways out there to do that? That's been a whole conversation in Magic, right? If you've been tapped into that, as you sacrifice thickness and maybe quality, does that make it thinner and easier? But then what does that do to the quality, right? And so anyway, all that to say, it's a nice index. And if you want a 6 to 12 card index, or if you like the look of the effect, you will absolutely be able to do it with Instagrab. Okay, and last but not least, and a little bit of a 2-for-1 special, is the Modern Z wallet, especially if you're able to combo it with the rainbow card. And then on top of that, if you want, you can loop in timeline. And that's what I think is really cool about the products that Patrick Kuhn has been rolling out over the years, is that he combines them into routines. And so then he's showing you how you can do the same. And obviously I imagine that's good for his business or his product line, that you see how they're able to integrate, right? And so you can build up, an even more robust routine the more of his products you get. So it totally makes sense, but let's go one at a time here. So the rainbow card, I actually got first, and I just used it in normal wallets. If you're not familiar with it, rainbow card by Higar, and I guess Patrick Kuhn contacted him, or I worked with him to be able to release it. You're able to reveal a card, or I think a torn bill, or a torn corner of a card, as well as some other options. You're able to reveal those in your wallet. And the way you're able to reveal them is actually in a picture that someone took of your empty wallet, and then they go back. The picture has that card in it. No special apps, on someone else's genuine smartphone. Okay, and I don't think it matters, iPhone, Android, based on the method. There is a real world, I guess you could say, it's kind of hard to describe, method that goes into this. I will say, I have noticed the rainbow card under certain conditions, maybe showing notes, tones of things you shouldn't see, that you don't want to be showing until later, because it just needs to look black. It just needs to look like the normal inside of the wallet is what it's supposed to be doing. But that's never super bothered me. I even got in contact with their support. They gave me some helpful notes about lighting. So that is something to be aware of. Magic isn't real, but I'm not super worried about it. And then I've just put that into like my mindset around presentation. Maybe there's been times where I've like taken a peek and I'm like, let's not do it today because of the extreme sunlight or high lighting. But for the most part, I don't think it has really scared me. It just is, a consideration to make. So be aware of that. I will say it's super cool, and you just want to do it as much as you can, to the point where I want to get different options, like different cards, that I can reveal. Because one thing is they end up with a picture, and as a hobbyist who also does gigs, I'll do it for one friend over here. I'm worried that if they share that photo with this friend over here, I can't do it for that friend. Or if I do it for these friends, they'll see the same reveal. It goes for a lot of tricks, but I think even more so when there is a souvenir aspect for it and they have the same card, right? So that's, something to think about, but it does warrant maybe the motivation to get more of different card options. So that's something that I would definitely be open to. But then how many do you do? Do you do 2? Do you do 3? So yeah, not absolutely necessary, but do be aware of that when you consider that effect. And that effect is even better with the kind of true number 1 spot that this is paired with. So I guess this was more of a top 4, a fake top 3. But the number 1 spot is the Modern Z wallet. And if you aren't familiar with Z wallets, they basically allow switches. That's kind of the most basic way I could describe it. I'm pretty sure Patrick shows a lot in his ad videos, but with this version of the Z wallet, first of all, it's just really nice. It's really nice quality, really nice leather. So I've really enjoyed that aspect of it. It looks good, it looks professional, but you have a couple things you can do. So first of all, you can switch, and that's helpful for the rainbow trick. If you want to, let's say, reveal one card, and then you act like you're gonna reveal another one appearing in the envelope, it doesn't, and then it turns out to be in the picture, that's one way you can present it. But you could also just use it as a general switch. So you have a dollar bill serial number you're gonna force, right? Borrow a dollar bill, say we're gonna get back to that later, go over to whatever your procedure is for the number, and then you come back and it matches, whatever it might be. He's also integrated a peek into the wallet that you can use, and it has its own unique, I would say zhuzhed up version of Out to Lunch, where you're actually able to see the card start to slide out, and then you're able to make the change or whatever appearance happen. Now, I will say one of the cool things about Out to Lunch in a general sense that you lose in this wallet is potential repeatability. And if you've used it, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you have a stack of business cards set up for Out to Lunch, depending on the effect you're choosing to do, you could actually presumably keep using that stack of cards for multiple Out to Lunch performances, especially if you're like a strolling magician, right? And if, let's say, you are able to transform cards from going to a blank to a filled out state, like maybe they sign and then you have a prediction appear, the card appear, you could keep doing that all night with a stack of standard Out to Lunch cards if you were using them in a rubber band, or if you used like Wallet from Nicholas Lawrence, or I have the Hermes wallet, it would be the same thing. All that to say, you would lose that here because it is a small wallet, it is a thin wallet. I'm saying you would lose it. Let me be clear. I guess you could presumably do it. I would need to try it out. But you're seeing the wallet here in the video overlays. It's very thin, and that's clearly not what Patrick is going for. He's not going for do this over and over and over again. It really is, especially with the added feature of the slide out. Doing that, again, I guess maybe you could get away with more, but no, like in order to actuate that, the best case scenario, I'll put it that way, is that you would need a single card. So that's what he's made it for. What you do get with that though is not examinability per se, but like a little prover at the end, because with the Z function, you can affect the switch, so to speak, that would let you show that compartment as empty afterward. So you would be left sort of seemingly clean because that dirty stuff is not showing, okay? So I guess another thing to consider with this Z wallet, like any, is, you know, it's magic, it's not real magic, so there's a secret, and there's a secret that you need to hide with your choreography and the angles at which you hold the wallet so that you don't reveal the secret. But I've had this, I've done shows with it, I've had people hold it in their hands and then, you know, put their other hand on top. It seems that you can see this in the ad copy, he thought through like when it lays on the table, how does it look, right? But I think, you know, there are still bad angles to this because it's a magic prop and because of the particulars of this magic prop, you do need to be aware of those. So I just thought I'd mention it. The version, he's come out with different versions. The version I have, the most recent, is magnetized on both sides, so it's kind of up to you to choose. I know he had past ones where one side would magnetize closed and the other side would naturally fall open, but I will say the magnets in this are removable, like on a slide card, I'm pretty sure, so you might be able to still achieve that if you customize it. I'm not exactly sure how, but you know, that's something to be aware of. But really, you get a great product here. It's just really high quality. You get just the switch alone is just like, it's very practical as a tool. And he's added some other features to it too, where if you add rainbow, if you add timeline, some of the other ideas, you can really do some cool things with it. The only real thing I would say is that you really do have to set it up for, you know, depending on the trick, I would say. There's certain tricks, if you're a strolling magician, that you could set this up for and do it over and over again. Like even the rainbow plus maybe another card reveal, you could do that multiple times a night, no problem. But like I said earlier, some Out to Lunch considerations, you know, you're gonna have limits there for like doing it over and over in a night. Patrick Kuhn is a really creative guy. He's also just like a cool seeming magician. I love his store site. It's very just pleasing, I don't know, and I like the sorts of things he thinks about when it comes to magic. So I wanted to do a little highlight video here, share some of my favorites, give you my pros and cons. Those are just my thoughts. So what do you think of Patrick Kuhn's magic, or what's your favorite Patrick Kuhn product if you've been able to pick one up? Or did one of these excite you? Are you gonna check it out? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to stay a hobbyist at heart. Check out the membership for some exclusive content if you're interested. But other than that, I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.